Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I make a lot of my money from logbooks on the KDP Amazon publishing platform. So today I'm going to show you exactly how I make my interiors in Adobe Illustrator. Now, if you do watch to the end of the video, I've got a very special gift for you there. So if this is something that interests you, then make sure you watch the whole video. Now, if you've not been here before, my name's Paul Marles and I do videos on how to make it, keep it, grow it, and that's your money I'm talking about. If you do like videos like that, then please do give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and also smash that notification bell to receive notifications of when I produce more videos like this. So logbooks are a favourite of mine. A lot of people think they're relatively dull, boring compared to things like activity books, puzzle books, colouring books. But that's why I like them, because they are not particularly exciting, but they sell well and they'll continue to sell well, and they tend not to go out of fashion. So potentially you could produce a logbook now and it'll still be selling in 10 years' time. Or that's the plan. Now, there are quite a few resources where you can get logbook type interiors from. One of them is BookBolt, and they do provide free interiors. A particular favourite of mine at the moment is Creative Fabrica, and I've downloaded and used some of these interiors myself, but I might add that I have modified some of them slightly because they may have things in there that I don't want, or want to add some things, but also just to make them a bit more original and make them my own. But if you go along something like Creative Fabrica, put in KDP logbook interior, you'll see that a whole list will come up like this, and you can narrow it down, you can be more specific in your searches. I tend to look for those that have download files in Adobe Illustrator format, or PowerPoint, or SVG, or EPS, or even Photoshop format, so that they are editable. Now, some of the interiors do come, as a 120-page PDF file, which you can just upload yourself, and that makes life very simple. Another resource that I've used, in fact my best-selling ever book came from here, and this is Tangent Templates. It does cost $59 to join, but you get access to all these different interiors, including these logbook type interiors. So you may ask, why on earth bother creating your own? Well, sometimes you may find that there's a particular type of book you want to create for which there's no interior available. And that's great, because it means you are creating something that is completely original. Now, you may have a hobby, an interest, participate in a sport, and you think, this is not being serviced on Amazon KDP. I want to create something myself. Well, what I'm about to show you, you'll be able to do just that. The other thing is, and this tends to worry a lot of people, because especially over the last month or so, I've had a lot of people ask me about duplicate content, and they've been pulled up by KDP for duplicate content issues. Now, that tends to mainly occur with things like puzzle books or colouring books. So if you go and download a colouring book interior and upload that, then it may be possible that there's a half a dozen or more people that have uploaded that same interior, in which case that might be an issue. But some people have said it's been an issue with logbook type interiors. I haven't come across that, but again, what I'm about to show you will overcome that problem, because you can create something completely original. Now, what I'm about to show you, you could probably also do in things like Inkscape, Gravit Designer, even on PowerPoint, but I'm showing you on Adobe Illustrator today. So let's go over to Adobe Illustrator. Now, I've got two files here, a left side file for the left hand side pages, and a right hand side file for the right hand side pages. The right hand side one is blank, as you can see here, and the left hand side one has got this grid that you can see here. And we'll create the interior on the left hand side page, no particular reason for that, and then we'll copy and paste that onto the right hand side page. But before we do that, I just want to show you there's two elements to this page. I have what's called a margin border that you can see here if I click on it, and this provides us with the margin according to the KDP formatting guidelines. So any content we want to produce. So if I go to left hand side page, click on the margin border, we can see the content is within this margin. So when we upload this, it will be no bleed. All the content will be within the margin and you'll have no issues at all. Now most of the time when we're working on the book, we'll switch that off, so it'll be invisible. Now the other border we've got is what I call the alignment border, which has no stroke and no fill, so it's basically invisible. Now this will become apparent and important a bit later on when we come to copy and paste our file into something like Keynote or PowerPoint. But these are two important files, and these are also on the left hand side page, as you can see here in our layers panel, and again they are both invisible, so we switch those off so we can work on our grid. Now this is a standard grid that I tend to start off with, and with this you can create almost any type of logbook interior. Now you do need the imagination to be able to do this, but I'll show you some simple things that you can do with this grid. Now all the lines here have a stroke of black colour and a weight of 1 point. So you can change that just by dragging a bounding box over all the lines and changing the colour to light grey if you so wish, or even changing the sizes of the lines in the stroke box. You could reduce the size to make them very thin, but I find in mine 1 point and black or light grey are usually the best things. So these lines you can move about quite freely, and you can also duplicate both the horizontal and vertical lines by holding down Alt, putting your arrow pointer over the line and just dragging, and you can see there we've duplicated the line, and we can do that with the vertical lines also, holding down Alt and just dragging. So if you want to create more lines, you can do. And it's also possible to delete the lines, like so. Another thing I do in my interiors, I'll often maybe have a line or row that's shaded, or a particular box that's shaded. That's very easy to do also. All we do is go to the rectangle tool or press M, and then just move the pointer over the corner of a rectangle or a box or whatever you want to shade in grey or whatever colour you want, and then you would go over to the fill. In fact, before we do that, we put stroke as none, and then go to the fill, and again we can have that as light grey, and you can see we've got our light grey box here. Now this is on top of our grid of lines, so what you need to do is go to the layers panel, just hold down the left mouse button and just drag that down until you get towards the bottom, and then let go, and there you can see you've got your shaded box. And again, like I did before, you could press Alt and you could duplicate that, and you could have it every alternate line, as some logbooks have, like so. So you see where we're going with that. So that's quite easy to do. Now for demonstration purposes, I'm going to create a simple mileage logbook interior. Now this is going to have 5 columns, and at the moment we've got 6. So we want to first of all delete one of the lines, so we've got our 5 columns now. Now it's very easy just with the mouse to drag these around, but a neat little trick you can do in Adobe Illustrator, say you wanted all the columns to be the same width, you can just use your mouse, drag over, as I'm doing here, over the vertical lines, then go over to the right hand side of the panel where it says Align. You want to make sure Align to Selection is ticked, and then to the left hand side of that you've got these 2 options here on the Distribute Spacing space, and you'll want in this case to click on the horizontal distribute space, and just watch what happens. It spaces everything easily, so you can make this look quite neat. Now all our columns aren't going to be the same size, so I'll show you what we're going to do here. So we're going to have a dates column, so we'll move that across. Now I've got the word description here, so what I'm going to do is just hold down Alt, put my mouse over the word and just drag that across. Now don't worry about getting it in the middle or aligning it, we're going to do that in a moment. Double click on there and just write in date. And I'll just move that just to around about the middle. It doesn't need to be exact. Now I've used an Arial font here. You can change this to any font you like that's on your computer, but we'll stick with Arial font for the moment. So I'm going to drag this over to the middle, and we're going to write purpose. So the purpose of our journey, for which we're going to record the mileage. Now using Alt drag, I'm going to drag that over there. I'm going to do the same in the other columns as well, and do that there. So we're going to put start there. So this is our mileage start, finish there, and total. Now I want to move these lines just over slightly. Now what I showed you previously, we can just drag a little box over those 4 lines, go over to our distribute spacing, onto horizontal distribute space, and just click, and that space those out nicely. So I think that looks pretty good. Now I think there's quite a few lines there. There's a few more than I particularly like, so I'll show you what you can do here. So we're just going to delete some of these. Now that's left us with this hole here, but showing you what I've done with the horizontal spacing, we're going to do with the vertical spacing. So just draw a box over those horizontal lines and go over and click on vertical distribute space. Boom. And see how easy that is. That's a real advantage of using Illustrator. Now I'm not 100% sure whether you can do this in Inkscape or something like Graphic Designer. You'd have to go across and try it out for yourself. So with our words, we now want to position these in the center, both vertically and horizontally. So the way I do this is I just click on the rectangle tool, which is M, and just draw a little rectangle there over the box with the wording that we want to align. Now get our normal pointer tool. Now holding down Shift, click on the word. So we've got our box highlighted and our word highlighted. And then click on the box and you'll see this thick blue line appears. Now go over to Align, and this time we want to click on Align to Selection, which we had before. And it's a case of just clicking on Horizontal Align Center, and you'll see that the date moves into the center of that box, and also the same with vertical align center. So now our word is in the middle of that box. Now you could just delete that box we've drawn, or you could drag it over to the next and just stretch it out like so, holding down Shift. Make sure our box is highlighted, and then click on purpose, holding down Shift, so both of them are highlighted. Click on our box, it'll go, you get the thick blue line, and then just do the same as we've just previously done. Now I won't waste your time, and I'll just do that with the other words. Okay, so you can see now all our words are nicely centered within the top row. But I just want to make this look a little bit better, so as I showed you a bit earlier, I'm just going to put a grey box under all those words. So I've just drawn a box using the rectangle tool. I'm going to go to the stroke, make that none, click on the fill, go to the color guide and make that light grey, and we need to drag that down in our layers panel to below the words like so. So you can see where we're going with there. And this would be a pretty standard page, but again I'm just going to make it, just for the purpose of this, make it look a bit better. So I'm just going to hold down Alt, drag down the box there, and I'm going to repeat that for all the alternate rows. Again, I won't bore you with that, I'll just do that quickly now. Here's just a quick tip. Once you do drag like that, you can actually press Ctrl D and it will repeat all the way down like so. This looks pretty good as an interior page. Now what you can do with this, you may say, well I don't want this basic grid, I want some bigger spaces within there. Well, you could do things like highlight a couple of the horizontal lines like so. Let's pick four lines, and you could drag those across, and now you've got an area with a big space there. So you may create a logbook where you just want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever, written down the left side here, and something else in another space. So you can see how you can just move the lines about and change them like so very easily. Again, when creating these logbooks, you've got to use your imagination a bit. So now we've got the basics of our interior for a mileage logbook. Now this template is for 8.5 by 11, so you could do this in a 6 by 9 book by copying all of this, putting it into a 6:9 page and just shrinking it down in size. You would have to create the margins yourself, because the margins I'm giving you here are for the 8.5:11 book. So now we've created our left hand side page. The next thing to do is to create our right hand side page. So what you need to do is create a bounding box around, or just select what we've created. Control C or Command C to copy. Go to our right hand side page. Now this is important. What you need to do is click on Edit and then Paste in Place. So not just paste, but click on Paste in Place, and it shows you here that's Control Shift V if you want a shortcut. So this will position it on the identical side of the left hand side page. Now this is where we need our margin border, so we'll switch that on and we can see our margin border here, and we've got all our creation that we've just made all sort of highlighted. So now all we need to do with the arrow key is just move all of this horizontal, not vertically but horizontal. So just move this over to the right hand side until it's within that margin box that we've created. So that's properly aligned. Now we can switch off our margin border. So now we've got our right hand side page. That's our 2 pages created. Now for the left hand side page, you remember I mentioned earlier about the alignment border. We're going to need to switch that on now, and also for the right hand side page, which is already switched on. So you need the little eyeball icon there. Now all we need to do is copy the whole artboard. So create a bounding box, not just over our grid, but over the whole artboard. And that will then include the alignment border that we've just created. And then Control C or Command C, and then over to PowerPoint or Keynote. This works the same in both. Now the first page of the book is the right hand side page, so we need to go back to Adobe Illustrator and copy the right hand side page. So Control or Command C. I was just testing you all there to see if you noticed. So the first page is the right hand side page, so all we need to do, just click on our page, Control V to paste or Command V, and you'll probably find in Keynote it will paste to the right size in the right position on the page. With this we just need to move this across. Now you can see here it clicks into place in the right position, and that's because we've got that invisible alignment border there. And then all we need to do is hold down Shift, bring that down to the corner, and we have our right hand side page all aligned nicely with the correct margins. So now we just need to repeat that with the left hand side page. So again, a bounding box around it all, Control C or Command C, go to PowerPoint, go to our next page, which is the left hand side page, click on it, Control or Command V to paste. Just drag it so you'll see the dotted lines appearing. It just clicks into place. Hold down Shift and drag that like so. Now I've got page 3 here which is blank. We can get rid of that, so I'm just going to delete that. So now we have our 2 pages here. So we just click on one to highlight it. You can see the orange box around there. Then holding down Shift, click on page 2 as well, and then Control C or Command C if you're using Keynote on Apple Mac. So Control C and then just paste. And you'll see at the bottom here we've got slide 9 of 10. So you just go all the way down until you get to the number of pages you want in the book. And there we have our 120 pages. So that's the interior of our book created in PowerPoint, and then it's just a case of save as Adobe PDF and just follow the prompts, and there you have it. You've got your interior, and you can just upload that directly within the KDP platform. So you can see it's relatively easy to create these interiors. You can create your own custom interiors. You can put any combination of words. You can put headers in there. And here's a little bit, I'm not sure if this works 100%. I've got a feeling it might do. But say you've got a title of your book like Mileage Logbook. Well, you could put that as a header on each of the page. Now it may help with search rankings on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a possibility. So there we have it. That's the interior created you can go out, create anything you like with that. It's fairly straightforward. So what's the free gift? Well, I've got a Gumroad shop. If you haven't been here before, you may not know that I've got a Gumroad shop where I sell keywords and I've got some free interiors. Well, I'm going to upload this to Gumroad. It'll be available by the time you've watched this video, and it'll be free of charge. And in there will be the left and right hand side templates, as I've showed you on Adobe Illustrator, and that will be in the Adobe Illustrator form .ai. It'll also be in the .eps form and .svg form, so you should be able to just open these in things like Gravit Designer and Inkscape. Now, the editing of the files within Inkscape or Gravit Designer may be slightly different to what I've shown you in Illustrator, but I'm sure it's very similar, but it's something you'll have to work out yourself. So those files are there, they're free. Just go along to Gumroad. I'll leave the link below and you can download those and then use them, change them for whatever you like, do whatever you like. There's no issues with trademark or copyright. And you can create all your own commercial properties, whatever you like with them. Okay, and then just adjust them, make changes, and use your imagination. Think up some great logbooks and create the interiors, and hopefully get on the ladder to making money online with your KDP books. So I hope you found that useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. But make sure you do hit the subscribe button. Also smash that notification bell. And until next time, goodbye.